said, I thought they had to have parents present or whatever. But Nathan ended up telling them that Sonny encourages Laura about the debate about the election. Dante wishes that he had kept Rocco away from Gio. Britt confronts Sitwell and threatens him. And the last thing is that Marco thinks it's time to contact the man in charge, but they still ain't said who's in charge, just like they ain't told us who shot Drew. I will forever mention that, because what's going on now? But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life of Justice for General Hospital, November the 18th, 2025. First things first, let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below, what y'all think, that y'all like the episode. Okay, so where do we begin? First of all, at the end of the episode, they did like this combined filming where they show Alexis explaining things to Danny them, and they show Rick explaining things to Dante and Lulu. So I'm like, okay, is something going to go wrong? Now we know that they showed a trailer or a promo or whatever where Laura's supposed to find somebody. She's supposed to be shocked or whatever. Everybody assuming that it's Dalton. I think they had a spoiler photo where she was in a car and Nathan was right outside the window or whatever. I said, I know she ain't run him over. I said, I know they ain't set it up for her to run him over or something like that. I don't know, y'all. But I definitely feel like they're going to end up blaming Laura because of the whole situation that they recorded. Now, today's episode, Sonny did say the people in the comments were saying how good it is. But people in the comments be switching up so fast, you never know. That don't mean nothing. But yeah, on today's episode, we're going to start with Carly and Brennan. So basically, she stopped by with a bottle of wine. She was like, she found it and stuff like that. She just trying to play him. She just playing him and stuff like that. But I feel like eventually she going to slip up. So they end up talking about everything. She was like, she still was bothered. She still was hurt by the fact that he lied about Vaughn. And by the end of their conversation, she ended up saying how she's ready to move forward. So they start kissing, about to sleep together. He ends up getting a call. Somebody on the other end said something to him, and he was like, he got to talk about it on a secure line. So she was like, duty calls, the WSB comes first. She was glad too, little relieved she ain't had to sleep with him. She was relieved. I said, yeah, Carly, you ain't gonna make it. I said, you might shock me. I said, this is what, the first time in a long time she done did something behind Jason back. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think after they called, that's when she went outside the room or whatever. But she said she'll be back. She told him she'll be back and stuff like that. I said, do y'all think he the one who got Anna? Who do y'all think? Who do y'all think is the big boss in charge? Because it has to be somebody we know. Now, they mentioned somebody else. I don't know if she had dealings with that lady, not with the lady, Lord, with Nina. I don't know if she had dealings with Nina or what. What was that lady name? She's supposed to be dead, but I don't know. I know it wasn't Ava's sister. It was another lady. I don't remember her name. But yeah, that's what people been talking about on social media, that they think it's gonna be that lady. I can't remember her name, but yeah. Sonny and Laura. Sonny stopped by to see Laura at her office, and I was like, how is this helping y'all situation? How is this helping y'all? How is this helping it out? They might as well meet at her office. They done been out in public and stuff. I was like, man, this stuff. I said, at this point, give up your seat, Laura. But yeah, Laura ends up talking to Sonny about everything that happened with Dalton. She said she lashed out at him and she slapped him and she feels like she tanked the election and stuff. He ends up encouraging her, saying that the people in the comments was proud of her and glad that she defended her grandson. They had seen how he manhandled him and stuff like that, manhandled a teenager or whatever. They were just talking about that. He was just encouraging her. And she was saying how it's in, their hands now. They don't know what it's going to be, but the results are coming in. But with the way they showed that spoiler photo and her being shocked or whatever, I feel like this going to come back on her some type of way. Oh, and also they was talking about how Dalton obviously framed Rocco. Dante and Lulu was in the office talking. Dante said Lulu that it's all Gio's fault. He ends up explaining that him and Emma is the one who got them to work together, got them to work with them and stuff like that. Lulu ends up saying how she do hold Gio and them accountable, but it's Danny, Rocco, and Charlotte fault because they the one who broke into the lab. And I seen people saying it. And I said, yes, of course, but at the same time, they knew better than to get them involved. Now, the way Dante, once again, how he's reacting, and even he further, I thought he started out saying, well, I don't know if he started out or he ended up saying maybe he was too hard on Gio or whatever. I don't know if he began saying it or ended saying it. Either way go, he did say this episode how he was maybe too hard on Gio, the way he talked to him and stuff like that. But he also said how, he had regretted how he talked to him the last time when Rocco got sick from alcohol poisoning and stuff like that. And he felt, for months, he felt bad about it and all this other stuff. But he's starting to think that he shouldn't have felt bad about it. And he also said how Gio was trying to impress the girl. Lulu was like she thinks he's more. He ends up saying how he wish he kept Gio at arm's length. And I said, don't let him hear you say that. I said, look, you do not let him hear you say that. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I expected him to react that way. Cause look, I wouldn't blame Gio fully for it. I said it's enough blame to go around for everybody, like Lulu said. I said, look at Lulu being a voice of reason. But yeah, I said, look, it's enough blame to go around. They shouldn't loop them in, and they shouldn't have been hard headed and went. They should have been hard headed and went. But yeah, now they being hard headed and want to turn themselves in. But yeah, what else happened with them? I think Dante and Lulu conversation got interrupted because Nathan came to say that Charlotte was down there or whatever. And that's when that's when Dante, Lulu, and Jason showed up. And they still was like, I think when Nathan was questioning them, they ended up telling everything that happened. And they made sure to say that Rocco didn't trash the place, and neither did they. It wasn't trash. Dalton made that up. So Nathan, when he came back, he told them that he a little rusty or whatever because he questioned them without their parents and they a minor. So they was like, so he just confessed for nothing. So once the parents got there, they still tried to confess. They tried to talk him out of it, but they was determined to help Rocco. So Alexis ends up coming because Jason called her. That's when she was explaining things at the end of the episode, and Rick was explaining things to Dante a little about how they want to flip it on Dalton because he tried to frame Rocco or whatever. So they want to flip it on him and everything. And I said, well, how is that gonna work if he dead? And also another thing, I think we talked about this yesterday. If he do die, or they have him murdered, Sewell, I'm assuming, if Sewell has him murdered, does that mean Rocco automatically will get out of jail, or do they still have to hold him there? Like, how that work? Can they still prove that he lied if he's dead? Like, I don't know. Look, I don't know. But they seem to think that they got everything worked out. We'll see. What else? Next, we got Jason and Britt. Britt wanted Jason to have Danny come forward. He explained that he not gonna do that or whatever. He'd do anything else, but he not gonna do that. She said, if it was Carly, I said, you and this Carly thing. You and Carly. Carly is clearly a threat to you. Now, I understand you ain't wrong because, like, he don't put Carly before everybody. But in this situation, he said he wouldn't have put Carly first either. So he explained that Drew gonna use this to his advantage or whatever. So we'll see how that works out. What else? I think Jason was with Britt when he got the call about Danny being there. Nathan, Danny, Charlotte, like I said, he was questioning them without an attorney, without their parents or whatever. And they gave him everything, gave him the whole story or whatever. They still want to turn themselves in. Marco and Sidwell, they was just talking about about Rocco and how he got arrested and everything. They was talking about how that could expose their whole little operation. And how basically Dalton was trying to sabotage everything. Hold on, let me make front behind it. Excuse me. Yeah, how he's trying to sabotage everything. Marco ends up saying how he thinks it's time to seek help from the man in charge. Sewell basically said that there's no reason for that as of right now because he don't want his identity known. He don't want his identity known or whatever. And I said, Marco, now, either you in or you out. Because I'm confused. He talking about our operation this and our operation that. I thought she didn't want no parts. And then anytime Sewell indirectly say he gonna murder somebody, he wanna act like all shocked, like he don't know this what that man do. What you thought this was? You trying to seek vengeance for your doggone mama, and Sonny ain't the one who took her out. I said he keep talking about that. Well, he ain't talking about it on today's episode, but and I said that made me wonder if they gonna set it up where Sewell actually did sneak into the hotel, or he had did something to her wine, or he had done something, or he just gonna let it go eventually. Or is he gonna let it go eventually? Yeah, because when we do see him and he mentioning his mama, he's still blaming Sonny. But what else? Let's see. What time is it? 3:09. Okay, I got time. I think Marco and them got interrupted because Britt showed up. Yeah, Britt showed up. Marco ends up leaving. That's when she was confronting him. At first, she was confronting him because she thought that he was involved, stuff like that. He ended up saying that he wasn't involved because why would he be involved? That will draw attention. She's like, okay. So basically, Dawson did that stupid stuff by himself. So then she was like, okay, I care about, even though Rocco's not my son, I care about him more than this stuff. So if anything, basically threatening him. And I said, you fool. He gonna get rid of Sidwell, then he gonna get rid of you. You don't even know who you working for. You don't even know what's going on. I said, why they always want to threaten the crazy people? Why? I said, maybe they don't even know. Maybe she don't even know who she truly working for. Tell my son what she gonna do and all this other stuff. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing, Britt. And he gonna withhold the doggone medication. They gonna withhold that medication. What else? I said Carly playing Brandon. Danny and Charlotte still want to confess. Jason calls Alexis. Britt threatens to torch the entire operation in order to help Rocco. Alexis and Rick want to turn tables on Dalton. And that was the last thing. That was the last thing or whatever. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Let me make sure. It was. I feel like it was something else that I wanted to say. I know Marco said Dalton jeopardized their entire operation. That's what he said. How he jeopardized the entire operation. But that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day and be safe.